Welcome to, I think today's the deep dive for Sudowrite in non-English languages. My name is Dahlia, and I've been using Sudowrite now for 2 years to plan, write, and revise novels, and I work primarily in German. And my main genres are fantasy, romance, and thriller. I'm very excited to host this session alongside Manon, who is a passionate writer and teacher from Canada, and I'm sure she wants to introduce herself to everyone as well.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Dahlia. My name is Manon Doucet. I'm a published author. I've been using Sudowrite for so long, I don't even want to tell how many years anymore. I've been writing both language, French and English. I teach in more language than that because I'm always happy into the international language in Discord to help everyone when possible. So, mon nom, c'est Manon Doucet. J'enseigne dans les deux langues, l'anglais et le français. Je suis publiée seulement qu'en anglais, mais je travaille sur tous mes livres pour les traduire en français parce que c'est en très grande demande. Je suis avec Sudowrite pour plus que 2 ans. C'est depuis presque le début que Sudowrite est sorti que je suis avec eux. Donc, si vous avez des questions, tout ça, c'est tout. Envoie-nous-les. Et c'est sur Discord que vous allez me trouver le plus facilement en dessous de international. Back to you.
Okay. Ich stelle mich auch noch mal ganz kurz auf Deutsch vor. Ich bin Dahlia und ich benutze Sudowrite jetzt seit 2 Jahren. Und ich schreibe hauptsächlich auf Deutsch, aber manchmal auch auf Englisch und hauptsächlich Fantasy, Romance und Thriller. And now we will dive into our session. Or do you have anything to say, Manon?
No, I think I have a big session that I plan, and I think that would be great if we work together on that. So unless you have something planified, I have also class note to share.
That's good. I have a few things I'd also like to share later, but we'll just start with your stuff.
No problem. So which screen we see mine? All right. So basically what we see here is the introduction. These are going to be also inside the documentation. The documentation is always fun to have because as we go and change it and update it, it goes and update for yourself too. So toutes les notes que nous avons vont être partagées avec vous et quand on les change au fur et à mesure, même si c'est une semaine après, si vous retournez dedans, les changements vont montrer, comme on dit, c'est live. Ça, je les ai mis dans pratiquement toutes les... All right, so an overview of Sudowrite, how it works in multiple languages. I'm going to explain to you how the AI is trained and imitation in different language. The AI, as we say, it's an English-centric training bias. So the AI performs best in English because that's the most dominant language in its training. Other language may not be as nuanced or accurate, especially with poetic and idiomatic expression. Weaker support for lesser used language. So that's why we have those classes to make sure that everyone can actually use Sudowrite in their language. There's occasional inconsistency, but not just in your language, in English also. The AI is always improving and it's not perfect. It's really not perfect. And with the, once they use the AI and they make it better or they think they make it better, well, we end up into a lot of glitches. So, and this is basically how the AI grow and learn at the same time. The AI is a robot, basically. So it can misunderstand the tone and the formality of a story or a book or sentence, you know. So simplify complex sentence structure. What I mean by that is, I will show you as we go, that we see people going out on ChatGPT or say, how I'm going to tell the AI to do something. And then they give basically a chapter to the AI to understand what you want when you can actually tell the AI in very easy, simple step. what you want. So sometimes easier is better than too complicated and everything get mixed up. And if you want to add anything to that, Dahlia, you can stop me at any time.
Nothing much to add, but yeah, it's often better to be short and precise instead of overloading the AI, especially with older models.
Yeah. So there is no built-in grammar inside Sudowrite. So there is error, and most of the error that I found normally with the AI is how, in my language anyway, in French, it's how it's going to put the dialogue tag. So instead of say, elle a dit à son frère, so it will reverse it. Il va faire le contraire. Elle dit son frère, bla bla bla. Donc, c'est des petites choses comme ça. Et les virgules, les points sont souvent, il y en a trop ou pas assez. So the punctuation, sometimes they have too much or not enough. And when you bring the book or the chapter inside the Grammarly, Grammarly will fix all these things, and Grammarly also work as an AI. So when you do bring your information into Grammarly, know that is using the tone. So Grammarly has that little function that you have to let them know that you're writing for children, by example, to use easy words. If not, it's going to translate everything or correct everything as basically a business documentation. So these are little things to check for when you write or edit your book in the other program to fix those little errors. Sudowrite can improve your style and flow, but it doesn't replace dedicated grammar tools, like I just said, the Grammarly and language tool for perfect syntax and language in each language. The lack of culture and sensitivity. When we write in other language, we have to tell the AI that you're writing. If, by example, I'm a person who write a lot of memoir and bio and self-help books, and I have to let the AI know that the story of that person is like 1920, north of Quebec. They speak the old French and all that information. And I have to make it in a way it's not too complex for the AI to also maybe give him a few examples, like the children speak that way, the parents speak that way, the priests speak a different way. So do you understand a bit what I'm talking about when you have to let the AI know about the culture and sensitivity of the era that you're writing in or the location you're writing in? You have anything to add to that, Dahlia?
Yeah, I can fully agree that it's really important to tell the AI about which group of people you're writing about, not only in regards of language, but cultural contexts are easily lost because AI often has this bias for the majority. It's like what it's considered to be normal. So you have to be precise in guiding it when you're writing about people and cultures that are essentially not the average white male American.
I'm trying to get my Sudowrite to show up properly. I have to refresh my screen. So we're going to show some live example of writing in different language. One question we forgot to ask, how many of you are totally new and working on their basic credit? Want to put that in the chat for us, please? During that time, we're going to do the example and writing in different language, adjusting the setting in the prompt in real time based on the input. We're going to encourage you to use your own prompt or write them inside the chat so we can test it for you. The bottom one I already talked about. And there we go. We are starting the whole thing here. So we're going to tell the AI to write for us a few things. And I need to see where I'm going. Where's my...
Yeah. And while everyone's working on their little prompt, there was a question by Antonio about is it advisable to use Grammarly, Pro Writing Add, AutoCrit when after writing and translating the text from my language into English, and which one would you recommend? Since I don't use either of them, maybe that's a question that you can answer better.
All right, so I use Grammarly, and a lot of my author that I know, the one who speak French, they do use Grammarly. They say there is a setting in Grammarly for your own language. I find out that as I write with French inside Sudowrite, it doesn't do a whole lot of error in French. So for me, I kind of find that very, very fun and very lucky for myself. I kind of know my language pretty well when it comes to grammar. And I have people which also are very, 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 very French, and they do love to read them. And even they say they don't see a lot of error. But Grammarly is my first go-to. And the other one, I think I saw Autocrit. This is my second one I go through, but not for language, more for if there is words which are repeating or sentence, and see if to get into that percentage where your book is good enough to be published. We also have plugin for that, which is called Good Enough, that a lot of our writer is using, but I don't think they are working in multiple language. Does that answer the question?
Oh, I speak about translating into English and fix my mannerisms and aisms.
Yeah, then in English, I will not use any of them to translate. We're going to show you how to do that in Sudowrite. So this is our little spiel in all the language that I'm sharing with you, plus how the class is going, is basically going, so you can actually follow along. And if we get too sidetracked, you can tell us we are too sidetracked. It does happen. And let's see, I got everything there. We have our Q&A.
Let's see.
Next, the language prompt that I just show on the screen, I'm going to share that with you too, so you can look at them, copy, and use them on your own for testing. In the how many people are brand new and have a little credit? Do we only have one, or starting using this suite? Manage very well. Novel crafters, the right didn't suit my quit. I manage very well, novel crafter, but Sudowrite didn't suit me quite well. Can you tell me what you mean by that, Antonio? I'll translate in English. Okay, yeah. My spiel on that, Antonio, is I do not ask the AI to translate for me. I write directly in the language I want in Sudowrite. And that's also, most of my story are so similar when I get them to write in English and write in French. It kind of, I think for me, I prefer to think it's giving the French language a bonus, because the story, it's more for them. Because we have to know that English story has their own terms for jokes or love sentence. When we write in French, we don't have the same joke. A joke in English translate in French, the French person looking at me says, I don't get it. Same thing for the love language. It's not the same in English and in French. So that's why when I do my story in Sudowrite, I get one in French and one in English. And I make sure they are similar, but they are written for the proper target audience. Does that make sense?
It makes sense for me, but Antonio asked if you can just unmute and ask his questions. And feel free to.
Yeah.
Raise your voice.
Okay, sorry to bother you. I really do all my working with the AI either in Spanish or in English or even in French. I don't have any problem with that. What I'm thinking about is once I finish writing a story, let's say I do it in Spanish because my level is much higher, and then I translate it either with the AI or directly personally, which I have done often in the past, and I have already a text translated in English quite well, but any native will notice that it's not a native who wrote that. And maybe this is a handicap if I want to commercialize the text. That's why I was asking if you, since you started speaking about Grammarly, etc., I asked if you advised any specific application or program, such as Grammarly for writing aid or AutoCrit, in order to fix those minimal nuances, etc., so that the finished English product is more natural to an English reader, so that he won't quit reading after saying, this is written by a foreigner. It's well, but in the end, he or she shifts to another, maybe to another text, maybe. That was my idea. And regarding my inconveniences with Sudowrite, is that I started with some idea. I already had the idea. So what I saw is that Sudowrite, it's great to start from scratch. But when I had some ideas, it didn't seem intuitive to me how to insert to fit what I already have inside the Sudowrite. I don't doubt that it's possible to do it, but I didn't find it intuitively, and I came back to Novel Crafter because of my brain. It suited me better, or maybe I started to Raptor right, and in the end, if there was some way to make it more natural and more intuitive, it would help Sudowrite. At least in my case, that was what I was meaning. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to.
The one thing that I would say to you, the AI is not there to replace you as a writer, no matter which language you're writing in. You always have to go in. And when you see those AI-ism we call that, we know it's an AI who write it. You go in and fix it to make it yours. This is so important. I'm testing a lot of writers. I belong to a different group where people put their books and we can go and read their books. And some of them are like, oh my God, guys, you wrote with the AI. You don't even go in and fix it that it sounds like it's a person at least edit the book. So this is very, very important. Go inside your books in no matter which language, French, English, Spanish, German, any of those languages, you have to go in and fix it to make it sound human. And that's, I think we're never going to say that enough. The AI is never going to replace you. I hope never. So that's my spiel on that one. And the translation, there's also ChatGPT, which can help you a lot on translation. If you have the ChatGPT version that you are a member with them, a subscription, and you make research in ChatGPT into other language or translation, we have someone which do super prompt in ChatGPT. Her name is Marigold. And she has a ChatGPT for translating text or stories. And that's the one I'm using to translate. And even that one, I'm going in because it's only translating like, I don't think it's 1,000 words at a time or something like that. So that the AI doesn't get overwhelmed with the translation. I know she probably expanded to even more than that. But this is one other thing that you can do. If you need something to translate, ChatGPT is also there for that. Just need to find the right prompt for it. Dahlia, you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, that were very good points. And going back to the AI-isms, I think the problem is, even if you use Grammarly or AutoCrit, that's basically you're asking an AI to find the isms in a text. And that's never going to work as well as if an actual human reads over this. And I know this is hard if it's not in your native language. But I think the best thing is really to get a native speaker to check for the stuff that you cannot fix yourself. Because at least for most language models, they're just not far enough to write completely without isms. Muse is pretty good in English for this, but maybe we have some time to see later today how well it does this in other languages.
Yeah.
But yeah, sadly, for most, there's still some human work to do.
Yeah, Dahlia does class in German for the German people who wants to go in a class in German. And tomorrow I do class in French. Actually, I have two classes in French, one which is normal class, and later during the day, I believe it's tomorrow, it's the erotic class in French. So we just speak French. We write in French, everything is in French. So if someone is French, I think we have a couple of persons that are French. So demain, j'enseigne les deux classes en français, une classe normale et une classe érotique. Donc, j'allais apprendre à écrire beaucoup plus approfondi en français avec Sudowrite. So, je vous demande d'aller vous enregistrer. Ça va être super intéressant d'aller dans ça. All right.
Yeah.
So, do we go and do some testing?
Yes.
All right. So I did here in every language that I could quickly do, so that normally we have with us. So for me, I will go in French because I can understand in French, but these prompts it's up to you. You can go and test them in the same time. So the first testing I'm going to do is the quick edit here, which is a free tool, so everyone can use it and there's no credit involved. So that's why I like to use that one so we can test it together. So we highlight the text, so you can go and highlight the text you want and bring it inside a project. So if you don't have a screen like mine, you just go into the right, start a new project, ask new, and get a blank document like that. And you go in the blank document and write that little sentence that I sent over for you guys to use. So the one here is basically write a short story, 3 or 5 sentences that begin with. And I put it, that's in English, but here's the version in French. You have Espanol, German, and Italian. So what we do, we're going to copy it. We'll go into that one here, going to pass it up, and we're going to test it. So highlight, get your quick edit. We're going to ask quick chat to start with. Quick edit might do something. Sometimes quick edit can very surprise you. So we can also put this here and see what it's going to do. We're going to test both and see if it's going to do it, because we ask in French and I haven't put the little prompt to write in French. So we are testing together on this one. So it's going to cross and is doing it in English. So he needs that little magic sentence. So what I mean by that magic sentence is, sadly in English, it's write all content in French. Right. This is the little magic sentence. I will put it in there. So all you have to do is to change French for your language. All right, so let's see what it's going to do now.
Yeah, and to add from the chat, it also happened for Spanish, and I tested it, and without the prompt, I also got English instead of German. It used to be cleverer a while back, but sometimes quick edit.
So with it is giving me a little start of what I asked. So is writing 3 or 5 sentences starting with c'est un après-midi pluvieux quand la lettre est arrivée exhalant un délicat parfum de lavande sur son papier. Son enveloppe arborait un seau de cire orné d'un insigne mystérieux, laissant passager des secrets à l'intérieur. So you can see that the one who speaks French here, it has that kind of, it's not a fluent French that's not something we would put inside. It would be more like someone who's more official. So présager is for more higher reader in French. So he did what we asked for. So I'm inviting you to just do the same thing inside your language and see what the result is. I will go and get a couple of them and try them myself to show you. This one is in Espanol. Get this one here, copy. As I do that, if there's any question, please get in the chat so we can answer you. Highlight, quick exit, and get that little sentence again. Right, and that one is in Spanish. And if someone is Spanish here, can tell us the result. So this is how you can start a little story with a small idea with no cost to you credit-wise. So when I talk about credit, and obviously my little tools header is gone. I'm going to refresh, sorry about that. So when I'm talking about credit, when you go up here on the little gear icon, you can see your credit you have that you bought, and you can see what we use today. So I use a quick edit 3 times, and it cost me 0. Want me to try in German, or we move on to the next little prompt?
I could show my results in German.
Go ahead.
It worked also quite well, but let's switch over. Is it showing? It's showing the wrong screen. Oh, it's showing the right screen.
Yeah.
Today it's being a bit weird with me. I just used the prompt that you had, highlighted it, and asked quick edit, and it gave me this little paragraph, which it's not bad, but it had some very, let's say, over the top language in it, like Wachsiegelhülle. It's like
it's not a language
this
you
thing.
use every day.
No, it's not something you would use regularly. It's like this, like this thing you use to seal old letters and stuff. So it's a bit over the top, but it's otherwise decent German. And since it costs nothing, I think it's always a good thing to start out with. And another thing that I like about Quick Edit is that it's usually with editing more reliable in your language than rewrite or describe. Yes, flourished language, that's exactly what it was.
So we go to the next one and try to see how we can create character.
Yes.
Where's the sharing? Check this one.
Sudowrite. Ah.
So create character. Do we see my screen or your screen?
Let me see.
Okay. Create a character with
I can see yours.
Country, describe their name, age, favorite food. How do we get our character to be in our story, to go with the language? You know, they're not all American, like we say. So how are we going to do that? So let's get to this one here. Share the second screen. There you go. So character creation. So create a character who lives in your country, describe their name and all that. So same thing here. We're going to have this little here, and we're going to expand this one. So I'm going to go into a new document. So I copy, and all those are also in that document that I share with you guys. So you can go in it and copy these inside your Sudowrite also. And then I'm going to also add, where's the chat? Chat. Also put that little right content in one. Okay, where is it? Oh, you write it in chat. I thought I was writing inside Sudowrite. Sorry about that. Let's get this over here. All right, all content in French. One thing that I like to do when I get to the story itself, I like to tell Sudowrite to write all in French Canadian. That make a big difference. Or write in French Canadian for children, also make a big difference, but not inside the before you do your prose or your chapter. Before that, use normal French, normal Italian, normal German. I find that it's working much better that way. So let's see if we can get this. If we just go like that, it's not going to do too much. Let's see if we can use the expand, what is going to give us or give us more. If not, we're going to I'm just playing with it right now. So let's see what the expand is going to give us by asking this. And I'm using it a bit like if you are chatting with ChatGPT about your character. Wow, it's giving me a pretty good. So here, what is giving me with expense. So créer un personnage qui vit dans ton pays, décrit son nom, son âge. So basically everything you need to do a story. So from there, I will go and say, okay, décrire son nom. So son nom, they say it's Manon, son âge, say that she's, say that she's 50. Son plat préféré. Oh, son plat préféré, c'est quoi son plat préféré? Spaghetti. Let's see, let's put spaghetti. And I don't care if I make errors, I just leave it as that because the AI is intelligent enough to know I'm talking about spaghetti or lobster or something like that. Et un secret qu'elle cache. So I can actually help him here. Manon is a woman. So a secret qu'elle cache. Anyone has a secret I can hide? A secret.
I'm so bad with secrets.
Okay. Mettre mes pieds dans l'eau de rivière. So I like to put my feet in the rivière water. And I can make some correction because I can use my corrector here. Donne à ce personnage une voix unique pour rendre l'histoire encore plus vivante. So now we're asking about what kind of voice that character has. What kind of voice? And I will put it in English just for the fun of it. She loves doing jokes and have a big sense of humor. All right. Développe chaque aspect de ce personnage avec une description détaillée originale. Et ce personnage, une personnage âgé avec une longue histoire de vie, un enfant plein de rêves, met de la lumière, pourquoi? Okay. So we're going to go with this. So we have, hold on a second. Okay. So we're going to cover over all these. And we're going to use quick edit, but oh, no. What's happened? Where is it? Okay. We're going to use quick chat. And there, I should just put down that sentence to write everything in French. Do I bore anyone with these, or do I kind of show you things that you're looking for to learn?
I think it's very interesting to see the way that you work with this, because that's not something I would have thought of myself.
So the result is pretty good. So it says Manon is a woman of 50 years old, full of life and vie et de caractère. So I have a big character, whatever. Oh, where is it? She loves laughing, and her laugh is like a melody. She lives in a small village where she's very, very well known for a sense of humor. She loves telling story and jokes. She attracts people towards her like like bees towards flowers. Her spaghetti. Oh boy.
It's
I don't know what is
accurate, I think.
okay. I have to, sorry, that's one of the little glitch here that we have. It's kind of going away. So I'm going to copy and close this. Hopefully I didn't lose anything. There we go.
Yeah. And while you're at this, Adler asked, what is the difference between quick edit and quick chat?
Quick chat is basically where you can ask question, like doing a big description, like on the character, like I just did. Quick edit will be the one who's going to take everything here. So I could highlight everything and tell, and I'm going to show you right now how it works. Where is it? There we go. Quick edit, and I will tell quick edit to write it in a more, how can I say that? A sad way there. Rewrite in a sad version. Let's see if it's going to do that. And is rewriting everything in a sad way. That's how we use rewrite. Or if you have a story or a chapter or a paragraph that you want to rewrite and change, like she's not a she, she's a he, you tell in the rewrite please, and replace Manon for André, and André is a guy, and he's going to rewrite what you highlight in the new way you want to do it. The chat is ready to ask, this ChatGPT 3.5, I think they use, to really chat with you and give you idea on how to do your characters. So that answer your question? You really need to fix that chat thing so we can copy it better. All right, we are at 11:42. It's very hard to show you everything, and there is a class right after that will teach how to use Muse. So Dahlia, do you want to take over? And
I can take over. There's a question from Antonia in the chat that you can take over while I'm showing some use.
Stop the sharing.
Let us.
There you go. And I'm going to go.
Let's. Before we head over to the Muse example, that's the right screen. I also tried this to use expand to create a character, and it actually gave me a funny little thing about an 80-year-old man whose secret was fighting the owner of a wind park, which I think it's interesting that it works sometimes differently depending on the language you're working with, or maybe it's just pure luck that you sometimes get different results. Because one thing about AI that I think is also important to keep in mind is that it's not 100% reliable. It often happens that one time it works a certain way, and then the next time it may glitch or has some hiccups and doesn't really work as expected. So there's always a lot of trial and error involved when you're working with AI in general. But this was quite interesting and may have been influenced by the fact that I had the little short story that we generated before above the stuff about create a character, so that it maybe read about the secret letter and it's whatever happened with this. But what I wanted to show you was a bit playing around with Muse. And I had prepared some example prompts from different genres, and maybe you have some genre you're particularly interested in, just drop it in the chat. Maybe I have something that fits this. We have dystopian YA, noir mystery in French, or maybe some fantasy adventure in Spanish. Any opinions on this? I'll just grab one, because we have someone speaking Spanish in here. Could just grab this little example. The original prompt was describe Crescent Harbor, a bustling coastal city for its floating market and mist-covered canals, yada, yada, yada. And I had this prompt translated to Spanish. And this is like this little thing that I would use for our little experimentation with the different models, because I like to play around with the different models we have to choose from via the right button. Since that way you can...
important what she's showing you guys. This is the setting when you use the guided right or right. So this is very, very important. Pay attention to that one.
Yes, yes, you can, if you go here, the right settings, you can choose your prose mode. And that's sadly not very obvious from the get-go that it's, for example, it's preset on being Muse. And you're not, if you're here, you may not think about having to choose a model before you click right. So keep in mind, always first go to the right settings, choose your model here. You have those top three. Muse, this is Sudowrite's own model, which is officially not multilingual. Then we have Excellent, that's Claude 3.7 Sonnet, which is very, very good in, I mean, it can only speak for English and German, really, but it's stellar.
Very good in French.
Multiple languages. And Basic usually also gives decent results, and it's pretty cheap. So if you're just testing out, I would probably go with Basic. And you also have a lot of experimental stuff to choose from down below here. But for testing today, we will take a look at Muse and compare it with Excellent and Basic for the same prompt, which is the one I just copied and we put it here into the guided right box, which can hold, they changed it. I think it's now roughly 500 words. I'm not 100% sure about that because they changed the limits and I still have the old numbers in my head, but it's enough to put a few sentences in there. And you can just go here, click go, and it will write in here. And usually a prompt like, at this time, language is Spanish, is enough to get it to write something that, in my opinion, looks like Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so I can't really determine if that is Spanish. Looks quite good. And this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was our dear little Muse. And to really look and compare models, you can just change the model here. Excellent. Go here, run the same prompt. And then you can look which of these versions look better to you. And for comparison's sake, let's make a third run with Basic. Because at least as far as I say, it all looks like it's Spanish. the order is. I'm not trying to read this.
Antonio says it's writing very, very well in the excellent version. He says that Brendan Sanderson could have written that.
Oh. Brandon Sanderson has to be afraid now that we have excellent. Now we have 3 test versions, and as you can see, Muse is a bit more expensive than Write, and Basic is very, very cheap. And that way, with the same prompts, you can go and look at the different versions and check out which comes closest to the kind of story you want to tell in regards of style and rhythm and all of that. And how well it actually follows what you were asking it to do. Since you can also, I will copy this in here for you so you can look at this later. Yes. First this
So
one,
that's a
Basic.
cool idea to compare all of those to see how much it costs between them, make them understand about the credit at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Since
someone says he preferred the Muse version to the excellent version.
yeah, it really comes down to taste often, since I think most of the models have their devoted fans that really love the different versions. And something else to look at with Write is also the creativity, which can influence the kind of output you get.
Sorry,
Least follows your prompts the most, and most is a bit more, let's say,
imaginative.
imaginative. Yeah, that's it.
Before we
It
go
has
too
its
far
own
and we
head.
forget,
Oh.
can you share that document so I can put it inside the class notes?
Yes,
Because we make
I
it
will do.
out at the hours very, very quickly.
Yes, we'll have to get out of it. Sadly, quite on the hour for the next class. Oh yeah, number of cards is the number of different variations of generations you can get. You can choose, I think, up to 6 versions so that you get different attempts by the same model to follow your prompt. I sometimes use this when I'm myself not entirely sure where I want to go with the story to get different ideas. But usually, since I have a hard time deleting stuff and choosing different versions, I just stick with one version. But a lot of people also create several versions and then take from every version what they like the best, which is also something that you could do by using different models. Like right now, I like to use a mix of Muse and Excellent, since sometimes Muse has like some great sentences and thoughts in it, while in general, I think that Excellent still is better, at least in German. Okay. So I gave you the link.
Yeah, I put it inside the Word document.
Very good.
And I will share the Word document again.
Perfect, perfect. And I really like to use this kind of way to choose for a model to work with. Since it's very easy to look at the differences. But now we have only 5 minutes left. So I would open the floor to questions. Also, I had prepared some other documents that I will just drop in the chat for you. Since we have so much. Oh,
And at the same time, before
I'm
we
not.
forget,
Yeah.
sorry, we have to get like very quickly in between things.
Yeah, it's sometimes little schedule issues are a bit annoying. Like here I did a little Muse test with different languages. That may also be interesting. So I think we covered the most languages today
So you put it in the
that
chat?
were present. Yeah.
I just need to find the chat again.
Yeah.
All right. Any question before we have to give the floor to the next class? Putting the big document in the chat. Oh, it's not it.
The next class is sadly, it's a class to teach teachers to teach scenes. So you can sadly not access this class. Okay.
So you're going to receive an email at the hour. Please take a moment to leave a short comment along with your rating. We love 5 stars. If you have other things you want to put inside of it, like say, I like to have learned something, or this question, I like to have it into the next class, please put it in the feedback. We're reading all your feedback, and we definitely like to see a lot of stars in it that make us that give us a nice warm feeling, and that we can actually make better class and more class for you guys. Let us know that you enjoyed. Again, your feedback helped me to future session, me and Dahlia, to get even better. So we look forward to hear or read about your feedbacks. I'm going to stop sharing. So do we have any questions? I have read very quickly, but I can tell you about the 3 versions. The Muse and Excellent are the best. Maybe Muse is a bit too sweet and flourished, but even the basic offered me some expression that suited best than the other. Indeed, a mix of all of them, mostly Muse and Excellent, is the ideal in my opinion. One question is how to avoid Sudowrite in English in the scene. The scene are still very, very new, and that's why we have a class after this one to make it learn better about it. Personally, I am testing the scene with another math science. We both math science in that. We are playing with getting the scene to write the way you want. But as a small tricks before we get kicked out, when you are in your outline, with the outline for the chapter you want to write, on top of the outline, tell the AI between 2 brackets, the square bracket, that you want so many scenes, because somehow it's not giving me enough scene on a lot of my story. Just give me 2 or 3 scenes and I'm not happy with it. So write in bracket, write 5 scenes and tell what you want in those scenes. And if you want it in the language, also put it, write all the in my language, all the content in my language. That's the tricks I can give you very quickly, because this is another class. If we go down into the scene and the prose, we need a week of basically classes, one after the other, every day. I hope that answer your question quickly. I hope that you understand that. Use that little bracket, give a command to the AI to write the scene you want. And that's how I use it right now. Dahlia?
Yeah, I agree. It also helps just to have the little magic prompt in as many story Bible boxes as possible. That also helps me, at least with scenes, to get them in German. But it's not 100% reliable yet, but I'm sure we're getting there.
Mhm. on that, I thank you everyone for being with us today. Je vous remercie beaucoup d'être venu dans notre classe. Je vous demande de venir me voir demain pour les classes en français. On va avoir beaucoup de fun. Plus qu'on est de fous, plus qu'on rit. Your turn, Dahlia.
Ja, ich bedanke mich auch sehr für alle, die heute da waren und hoffe sehr, euch in einer kommenden Klasse wiederzusehen. I hope very much to see you again in another class.
Thank you so much. I will stop the recording.